them are being charged with counts of engaging in mining without permit, represented by former Member of Parliament for Brekum, Captain Retired in Krabia Ifa Date. These persons are yet to come out of the courtroom. Some of the court officials currently filing out of the courtroom. That is Captain Krabia Ifa Date. We are yet to see the accused persons. Police officers soon should be expected to escort Aisha Huang and 3 other Chinese persons who have been arrested. It's been an interesting moment in court today as Captain Inkrabia Fadate made the argument as to why his clients should be granted bail. Aisha Huang and the other accused persons in this particular case are being taken out of the court premises here at the circuit court, back to the police custody, where they are supposed to be until the case is recalled or the next sitting date.
So I respect my Lord for the decision he has given. I accept it. But we'll go to chambers, and myself and my colleague lawyers will decide the way forward. What happened was that I was defending Aisha 1 at High Court Criminal 1. Then, on the day that we were supposed to open our defense, the Attorney General entered nolli prosequi, which means don't prosecute. Then the Attorney General took my client away from the court. The next thing I heard the next day was that my client had been flown out of Ghana back to China or wherever, but out of Ghana. I didn't understand why the Attorney General did not allow us to finish the case. I think it was a wrong move, but they took her out of Ghana. Today we are being told in the court that she sneaked out of Ghana, which is false, a blatant untruth, an inaccurate statement. I was not at the bar conference, but I'm told that the Attorney General says the cooperation of the judiciary is required to keep these people in custody. If it is true that my learned friend, the Attorney General, made such a statement, then it is most unfortunate. Most unfortunate. And in the light of that, the decision to refuse bail gives credence to what is being said, which is unfortunate, most unfortunate.
So you pretty much relied on some of the engagements that have gone on within the media space. How do you reconcile the information minister's revelation that she was repatriated to the statement from prosecutors today that she sneaked out of the country?
My worry is that the media has overhyped this small matter of mining without license and doing mineral sales without license. It's a small matter. It happens every day in Ghana.
Welcome back. So that's my colleague Sixtus Domolo and Michael Obodo. Earlier I heard Hans.
It's now a subject of national discussion.
Okay.
Everywhere you go, this matter of Galamsay will at least achieve that purpose of heightening consciousness about it as an evil. When I came, nobody was talking about Galamsay. Since we came and focused on it, it is now the subject of discussions in homes, in offices, in meetings all across Ghana. So that's one very positive development. Secondly, many of the measures that have been put in place are yielding fruit. The community mining schemes that are being established across the country systematically are being rolled out. The efforts there are to keep our waters clean, not succeeded in their entirety, but some measurable increase in performance there is also taking place. Generally, you can see that, yes, there will be sensational cases, and the matter is not over. The Aisha Huang is a sort of, has become a short form for everything to do with especially, unfortunately, with the involvement of foreigners, especially Chinese, in these illicit and dangerous acts in our country. But I'm persuaded that much of the work that is being done, and a lot of these things are going on without too much publicity, is gradually yielding results. When you have a situation like this woman who was, I'm not still sure whether she was in fact deported or whether she fled the country the first time and has now come back, but whatever. There still seems to be some uncertainty about it. But whichever way it is, she's become the sort of nickname for all that the Galamsay represents. And unfortunately, also for the involvement of Chinese nationals in Ghana in this particular illicit trade. We have constantly to work at it. We need to have the cooperation of the courts. Until recently, till I came, the punishment for people caught was relatively light, a fine, and even if we're going to go to custodial sentences was relatively minimal. We've changed the law to stiffen the punishments for people caught. For foreigners, I think it's now 15 to 25 years, depending on the severity of what it is. So we're also now going to test our judicial system, to what extent it is going to be responsive, especially when somebody like her goes on to trial. But I'm persuaded that the fight is in the right place. It's not an easy fight. You can see in the last election, the concerted efforts that the Galamsay community made to try and turn us out of office because of our fight. Unfortunately, the good people of Ghana decided otherwise. But it shows you the extent to which this fight is biting. People made these desperate efforts to throw out the party they thought was spearheading the anti-Galamsay fight.
Well, I'm sure that
Nanaduna H. Ghana president. And our children say, Aisha Huang said, yeah, a tiena, efa Ghana, any Galamsay. Aisha Huang, a Hunsem, and Nanado H. Aisha Huang, Ayobia, o free China Maimu, o free China Maimu no Bagana, where you be beer, may say Galamsay. And what best say ye sune ye rivers in ye forest reserves, Ghana and Sassina, or Bayer or Dashi. What best say nina or to Galamsay. Or dim fidia kesia bulldozers and asifo, or the best say Ghana and Swinina. And ye deporto no, ye pamono maneko ya, was a baby, as a baby too, and a police at chino. Police for Chenwa, Nanado, the chief of Ghana Armed Forces. And I watch Limuno. They say, the Akusiane say, also on your short side, Shawan, ya didn't call the crew. Into Mummy and Tia, we are ready a Koso. I Shawan.
She has filed for naturalization and now she is a Ghanaian. And we were shown documents to that effect. And being a Ghanaian, there were still restrictions, but to her, there were no hurdles at all. She had collaborated in the police service, and in fact, the last time we went there, we had information on the ground confirmed by our task force that indeed, when she's coming to the site to collect her gold every Monday, she's escorted by armed policemen. Even when we came home, there were police officials who called certain people within the newsroom asking to set up a meeting with her so that perhaps probably they will influence reportage coming in from the bush. And so this is a very influential woman from all sectors, from the military to national security to the police and even to people, indigents, chiefs, where bribery attempts were made. And so there was no way you could stop her. You get to the site, you see the equipment, The next day, she's back with fresh equipment and she's mining. Even 4 days ago, we had information through the task force that indeed she was arranging, after 6 of her excavators were seized, she was arranging to get fresh ones from Obwa to go back to the site to mine. That is the kind of person we're talking about.
Now, this deportation, once they've sent her out of the country, is there any guarantee that she won't slip back in under a new identity or, bribe somebody and find her way back into Ghana?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Looking at what I know she can do, the amount of money she pays to people in the media, in the police service, in other areas that we have hints on, I wouldn't be surprised at all if she come back to another channel and continue with her activities. Or she can even remotely continue with her activities within the site. But we will keep our ears on the ground because we've been following her keenly, and her illegal activities, we've been reporting on them. And so definitely we're going to follow up on that, and we'll see how it goes.
Right, Rasta Sasari Donko there giving us an update on the most recent news that Aisha Huang, a woman synonymous with the Chinese involvement in illegal mining here in Ghana.
On her Chinese passport. According to City News sources, she was arrested by the security apparatus upon a tip-off engaging in the sale of minerals and equipment for mining. Aisha Huang was put before the circuit court on Monday and charged with mining without a license and engaging in the sale and purchase of minerals without a valid license. She was charged alongside 3 other Chinese nationals. The accused persons all pleaded not guilty to the charges. The case has been adjourned to 14 September 2022.
I am not so
who have some very difficult questions to answer to the people of this country. Number one, when the story was put out there in December 18 that she had been deported because her prosecution would have a problem relating to the Sino-Hydro loan, how did the senior minister get this information? Was he also lied to? Or this was part of a conspiratorial attempt not to put her before a court of competent jurisdiction? Now, this document that the prosecutors are presenting, I think we need to subject the ink to test. It is an old document. When did they write it? So I am at a loss as to who is telling us the truth and why these multiples of contradictory stories are now coming out. Certainly, the immigration boss is in a tight corner. If this lady managed to abscond, where did he get the documents from? The boarding pass with a seat number. And if she was deported or repatriated, was there an officer who ensured that she had actually cleared the last ticket check or the boarding pass check at gate number 7 and actually entered the plane? I think if Ethiopian Airlines is complicit in releasing these documents, can they then help us whether she actually got out in Addis Ababa and connected a couple of hours later on their direct flight to Guangzhou? You see, because the hollowness of our so-called security apparatus and those who have sworn to protect the interests of the Republic of Ghana have been torn asunder. That one individual, a gangster, can work with critical actors located within the interests of the state to such an extent that when she reappears, actually has the audacity to reappear, the whole state apparatus is confused, is contradicting itself, and now we are back to the trust deficit is growing by the day as more and more of officials attempt to explain the increasingly inexplainable.
But who is Aisha Huang? We have a news desk report by Quick Westante capturing all you need to know about the mysterious Galamsay Queen.
seem to have broken all conventional norms when it comes to security and arresting culprits involved in the endemic menace of Galamsay. According to journalist Abdul Malik Kubako, she was arrested multiple times but managed to get herself freed. He alleged Aisha Huang had sex tapes of powerful people he used to blackmail such persons.
I have it on record. Was arrested 3 times during the previous administration. 3 times she was released. She's a very powerful woman. Operates more within the Ashanti region, especially Kumasi. She's got connections from my own checks also in this administration. You know, they have video and audio recordings of people who are powerful, of people who have been entrusted with responsibilities to protect us as the people. I'm telling you.
Eventually, her cover was blown and she became a topic of national discussion after her arrest in 2018. But expectations that she will be fully prosecuted fizzled out when she was deported. As unpopular as that government decision was, then Senior Minister Yao Osafo-Maafo defended the action.
A very good relationship with China. They're the main company that is helping develop the infrastructure system in Ghana is Sino-IT. It's a Chinese company. The one that is going to help process our bauxite and provide about $2 billion to us. So when there are these kind of agreements, there are other things behind the scenes. Putting that lady in jail in Ghana is not going to solve your problem. It's not going to make you happy or me happy. That's important. The most important thing is being deported out of Ghana.
The country was taken by surprise when Aisha Huang found her way back into the country under circumstances that can best be described as mysterious. Attempted to change her details on a foreigner's Ghana card and was said to be still neck deep in illegal mining. Indeed, security analyst Professor Kwesienin alleges there may be more to Aisha Huang than just illegal mining.
Aisha is not an ordinary Chinese gangster. She's an agent of the state. She's a spy. And her expertise is in economic warfare, deliberately destroying our environment and our water bodies.
The then chairman, and then he told us that it's an economic situation. A farmer can choose to destroy his cocoa and plant rubber, which was very heartbreaking, all because what we know is cocoa is the backbone of our economy.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is Galamsay specifically. I want to hear how Galamsay specifically is affecting the cocoa farmers and the farms.
Yeah, well, as I'm speaking to you right now, when you head towards to a place like the western region, most of our cocoa lands has been marked. Others is being destroyed just for the Galamsay. When it comes to eastern region, as I'm speaking to you right now, there's an excavator within the 81 West that is clearing a whole cocoa, a cocoa that has reached its peak, for the farmer just to harvest it, for cocoa board to get it, and then for the farmer also to get something in his pocket. As I'm speaking to you, there's an excavator within that is clearing everything. They are just taking it all off. And it is heartbreaking. We have been saying this in here and there each and every day. But the problem is, there's no law that protects the cocoa tree. That is what we are advocating for. That before a cocoa board will be given a seedling for a farmer, a cocoa board needs to sign an agreement, or a farmer needs to sign an agreement between him or her with cocoa board. So at the end of the day, this is my land. Cocoa board don't have any land. What cocoa board they are saying is, it is a land tenant system. They don't own the land. So a farmer can choose to take his land to do any other thing. But what we, the concerned farmers, we are saying is, cocoa is the backbone of our economy. So in this case, when we give the seedlings out for free, and at the end of the day, others are just destroying it just for gold and other things, at the end of the day, it will come to square zero.
Okay, so is it a situation that the cocoa farmers themselves are giving up their land, their cocoa farms for Galamsey purposes?
Well, with our identification of community challenges, there are some people that they are giving their land, but some are not giving their land. When you go to Chebi, for instance, like Abraham Addo, the Savior Church of Ghana, the CEO, his farm was given for a concession just to destroy. It was the concerned family that came in to intervene and even demonstrate, just tell the people that no, we will not give a chance for this cocoa to be destroyed because this cocoa is a global award-winning cocoa farm. So the situation now is concession is being given, and then those that they are giving the concession, we don't know whether they know that it is a cocoa growing area or it is not, or maybe they don't even go to the field to inspect because mostly why they are doing this kind of illegal activity, it is a cocoa growing area.
Okay.
That is what is happening. And it's affecting us seriously. When you go to Gaboto, as I'm speaking to you right now, most of the rice farmers and even the cocoa farmers, most of their lands have been taken away from them. And then they are doing Galamsey, which is very dangerous.
So now you mentioned another crop which is very important to us, rice farmers. Thank you, Nana. I want to quickly expand on a good friend of mine who works in this field and has been to 75 cocoa districts over the last 5-year period, estimates that about 100,000 metric tons of cocoa is lost to Galamsey every year. And I have no reason to doubt that. I will expand on that pretty shortly. So just let that sink in for a second. Michael Kojo-Pepra is with the Small Scale Miners Association. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Evans.
Hi, Michael. Great to have you join us. And listen, you work in the mining sector. Now, we're talking about the Chinese invasion. Is it accurate to call it an invasion? And because what we hear is that a lot of these big illegal Galamsey operations are funded by the Chinese because they have the funds. Is it as bad as we have been made to believe?
First of all, let me extend my greetings to your viewers. As a matter of fact, I cannot say that there is an invasion on our various crops or our various farmlands in this country.
And luckily, the ministry has also constituted various district mining committees in the various mining districts. So this mining committee has to make sure we also go through the needed.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Duka, before you joined us, we were talking about the Chinese angle to this problem. And we heard earlier from the small-scale miners that the law bars foreigners from engaging in small-scale mining. And we know Galamsey, small-scale mining broadly, as we've heard already, and the statistics show that the Chinese are the ones with the financial muscle. So what specifically for me, as you deal with this problem, how are you dealing with the Chinese factor in the illegal mining space?
In fact, we've entrusted all our powers and whatever assistance we could to the security agencies, especially the Operation Hall 2, that has been moving around, making sure that they clamp down all these Chinese. Wherever we go and we are seen or found, or where we are giving information, we chase them out by the security agencies. So we're using our security agencies to make sure all these people are brought to book. So we leaving those stones unturned to make sure.
Were you surprised when the news broke that Aisha Huang was in Ghana and still engaged in illegal mining?
It was personally, I was surprised personally that we could have such a situation. But interesting, it happens. Sometimes our own people, some go to other foreign countries. They are deported. They find their way back and all that. We have people who meander their way to get into the country surprisingly. And I'm told, reliably told, that she went to Togo and did not use the appropriate, former channel to the country. But irrespective of that,
it happens all over the world. Situations of that people are deported, they find their way back to the country and all that. So let's leave that one for the security agencies to investigate further. And I believe, as the president has directed and indicated, the law must take its own course in this regard.
Yeah, I mean, give a quick word to Fifi Boafo with the Cocoa Board. Fifi
and all that. So let's leave that one for the security agencies to investigate further. And I believe, as the president has directed and indicated, the law must take its own course in this regard.
Yeah, I mean, give a quick word to Fifi Boafo with the Cocoa Board. Fifi, so you painted a picture how bad the destruction of cocoa lands are. What is the Cocoa Board doing right now as part of your own efforts to save this very important cash crop which our economy relies on? What has been the approach, very quickly?
Approach is to find a means of making sure that at least the farmers get better remuneration from their farming activity. It makes it more difficult for the farmers to give out their lands. In situations where you have the Minerals Commission giving out lands that are originally cocoa farms to these illegal miners or even the small-scale farmers, we realize that the farmers are not motivated or they do not have the strength to be able to fight on their own. So Cocoa Board has made available our legal team who are on standby, and they've actually done that in Sehiyo, so in another instance in the Western region, where they were able to represent these farmers, and the farmers were able to have their farms intact, where the small-scale miners did not just take away their farms from them. Another thing we are also doing is to engage other stakeholders. So, for example, the Minerals Commission, we've had an engagement with them, made them understand. So, for example, at present, if a cocoa farm is being converted to a small-scale mining site, all that the person is supposed to pay is 20 Ghana cedis for a tree. That's the usufruct. And we believe that this is woefully insignificant. So Cocoa Board at present is putting together a legislation that ensures that the farmer is well remunerated in a situation whereby the farmer has to lose the cocoa farm or the cocoa tree to small-scale mining as a way of a disincentive to people who want to go into mining, be it small-scale or illegal mining, by taking over farms that belong to cocoa farmers, and then they are doing their activity in support of the country, or that builds the country in the long term, instead of the small-scale mining, which is just a short period of time, and then they lose their livelihood forever. So that's one of the things we are also doing. We also believe that the security agencies are very critical in such a situation, because people who force the farmers to give out their farms or to take over their farms, there's a need for the security agencies to intervene. We've had several engagements with the security agencies, and these engagements are ongoing, and it's our expectation that we'll be able to at least reduce the effect. It is very difficult. It's not within our remit to say that we stop it entirely, but we believe that these measures, among others, will be able to help at least save the farmers who are willing to save their cocoa farms. One of the things we're also doing is that the traditional authorities who are giving out the cocoa farms to small-scale miners or illegal miners, we are also engaging them, letting them appreciate, and in some instances, draw the attention to the fact that if you have given out your land to someone to plant cocoa, you cannot just overnight say that, well, I am the traditional authority, I own the land, and I want to use it for different purposes. So we are also engaging them, letting them appreciate the fact that what they are doing is not just only destroying the environment, but also going against the interest of the country, and there's a need for them to stop that.
Yeah, I mean, Fifi, thank you very much. Listen, this is a big conversation.